So, welcome everybody. We have also viewers on Zoom that are following this WSO day and also this coming event for the Fashion Week. And we have been talking all day, so I apologize. I'm a bit tired, but definitely this part of the day is the most intriguing, the most fun, because fashion is also fun and pleasure and beauty. And we will have today this short conference on sustainable fashion with me introducing issues related to the environmental impact of fashion and initiatives to reduce this, and the Friend of the Earth Fashion Project. And then we will have representatives of the media and of the, let's say, civil society organization that reuses clothes, reduces waste, and so on. So the fashion industry is very big. We're talking about $3 trillion. This is quite normal considering that we all need not only to feed ourselves, so the food industry is huge, but also to wear something normally. And so it's quite a normal consequence that it's a big industry. And it's a growing industry. Why? Because, of course, the population is growing, and there are some emerging countries. So with the exception of a big slowdown in 2020 with COVID, where you remember we couldn't even go to the stores, there's been a continuous growth in the market size of the global apparel industry. And as usual, China plays a major role on this. As you can see, the red part in terms of apparel units purchased by country. But China has a large population, and an average individual consumer in China spends just under a quarter of the amount than an average US consumer, and buys 23 fewer items per year. So that's the outlook, and in the EU, Norway is the biggest spender, followed by Ireland, Sweden. And of course, China is also the biggest export country in the world, followed by the European Union, India, Turkey, and so on. And it's interesting to note, and the new generation will know for sure, that the e-commerce share of total fashion sales is rapidly increasing. Imagine that it's 38%. And fashion brands are owned by few large, most fashion brands, the most popular ones, let's say, are owned by a few major fashion groups that you see here listed. And here, this image represents how they are grouped in the different groups: LVMH, Richemont, Kering, and so on. So this is impressive on one hand. Sometimes we are used to see brands on the street and think, oh, this is different from that, and instead it's always the same group that has a very good marketing approach. So it tries to meet all the demands. And this is impressive, of course. It's a big production, but it can also sometimes be useful if these companies decide gradually, and this is what is happening, to do their best to reduce their impact. They will introduce various initiatives to go in this direction. And this is happening. Of course, some of these can be greenwashing, as it happens in the food sector, where we talked about this morning. And that's why certifications are very important to verify that the companies are actually doing what they're saying to do. You know very well that clothes are made of different fibers. There are some which are named natural fibers, so normally those from agriculture, animal farming, like wool, for example, and mineral fibers. There's also cellulose, for example. And then there are man-made fibers like organic fibers and polyester. And we see on the graph on the right that polyester is the one that since year 2000 and the early 80s and 90s has grown dramatically in terms of percentage that you find on the clothes. And it's currently approximately 70%. The only other one that has grown somehow, I would say doubled from 15 to 30%, is cotton production. The others still play a very small part. There are various indexes which try to assess the impact, the overall impact of fabrics on the environment. The Higg index has also been criticized, but normally there is evidence that on average, and that's again why it's important to have certifications which look exactly how the production is made, but on average, natural fibers, because they come from agriculture and sometimes farming, the same as when you're talking about eating meat and so on, can potentially have a bigger impact because you need more water, more land use, etc., compared to artificial fibers. But, there is a big but, of course, we know very well that artificial fibers are not biodegradable at the end of the life cycle. They can produce microplastic when they are washed. So there are some negative impacts. So I would say that we should not demonize any fiber. They all have their proper use. They all have potential for improvement. They're all there, and we need to motivate companies, producers, brands to reduce their impact, whatever fabric they are using. And so, in fact, as a consequence of this growing awareness, the market for eco-fabric, eco-fibers has grown. This is the US trend. And we are talking here also of recycled, organic, and other, let's say, features that we normally consider as eco. There's another problem in terms of consumption, the so-called fast fashion. And what we see here on, let's see if I can show it to you. We can see that we are reducing the number of times that we are using on average a piece of cloth from the initial 200 times to the current 150, 160 times. This means that we are all on average buying probably too much products that we just leave in the shelves. We don't even remember that we bought them. As a consequence, the production in terms of metric tons and the number of units has grown, and consequently also the waste that we are generating. This is because also the marketing strategy of many fashion brands, in particular the bigger ones which have the power to do this, the big brands that we see also in Corso Vittorio Emanuele, is to move from a traditional fashion cycle of 2 cycles per year, so spring, summer, and winter, autumn, to a fashion that changes maybe 50 times a year. Every week, especially with the online sales, there's something new, some new trend to propose. And of course, this leads us to buy more and more things that maybe are not useful. So we have to be very careful, independently of what product we buy, also to slow down on this. Consequently, I won't go through this data, but consequently, the textile and clothing industry is considered to be one of the most impacting one. And as I mentioned, there's an issue with microfibers that are produced by artificial fibers, such as polyester and so on. It's known that they can be reduced if the product is recycled, and hopefully new technology will help to reduce it completely. So consequently, there's a lot of pollution. There are some extreme cases, such as the RLC. We're talking about the use of water, in this case, to produce cotton. But here we have examples of cotton producers, such as Natural Cotton Color, which uses only natural irrigation or artificial. So we don't want to generalize absolutely, and we want to highlight the good examples. But as you can see, the RLC has been reduced to maybe 1/10 of its original size, because the rivers that used to fill it with water were used for irrigation for cotton in Uzbekistan. There are some other examples of main cities, main producers of textiles, such as this city in Indonesia, which generate, of course, an unsustainable level of pollution. And then we have impacts in terms of social accountability. Of course, the fashion industry, like the food industry, involves a lot of workers. So on one hand, it's good. On the other hand, there is a great difference in pay level in different countries. As you can see on the right, there's a huge difference at pay levels. And so there are some extreme situations of child forced labor, for example, minimum wages which do not allow to cover not even 60% of the cost of living, so they leave the workers in great difficulties. Lack of safety measures. We have heard of the Rana Plaza disaster and the great fatalities in some of the factories which were not using appropriate safety measures. And generally speaking, I won't go into the detail of this, but the level of interest and awareness in consumers, the willingness to pay has grown. It differentiates between different countries. Asia seems to be pushing this a lot. I suppose the numbers here are too small, but basically environmental awareness, the request for sustainability is becoming a major drive for consumers, which are willing to pay. You can see on the graph on the right, more and more for products which are certified and confirmed to be sustainable. So I will go fast through this. And so as a consequence of this raising awareness, consumers are appreciating the introduction of certifications. Of course, there are some certifications which are kind of weaker, others which are real third-party certifications. Some, like B Corp, refer to the generic good practices of the company. Others, such as GOTS, refer to the organic origin of the textile fiber. Oecotex is more focused on the actual processing and the use of, let's say, environmentally friendly tools and additives, etc. And there are others related to social accountability and so on. Our organization, the World Sustainability Organization, has developed several standards for the certification of sustainable products and services. We have, as you heard this morning, those of you who were here, we are very strong in the certification of sustainable seafood, from sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, but also we develop standards for sustainable products from sustainable agriculture and farming. And that's why it was natural to develop a project to and the standard to certify sustainable fashion and sustainable textiles. There's a web page which provides all the evidence and the information about the project and the certification itself, with the different standards and requirements that are used. And the certification is open to both type of fibers or products from different fibers, whether they're natural or artificial or synthetic. Of course, there are different requirements. They need to be 100% in case they are synthetic, and also there are requirements related to all the processing line. So these are the brands. I hope I've included all of them. I've done my best. Otherwise, if one brand is here and I haven't mentioned, you can stand up and let me know. But these are the brands which over the recent months have joined the project. Brands from all over the world, and the number and the origin is increasing. There's a recent one from Egypt which is not there. And over the past few months, a year and a half, I would say, we have been, the project and the brands have been mentioned on some of the major media in fashion. And we participated and brought also the brands to Pure London. This was the first trade show that we jointly participated at Purely Sustainable. And on top of this, I have the pleasure to mention that a few months ago we have opened our new concept store right in the center of Milan, and I invite all of you to come and see it. Its objective is to become the hub for sustainability in Milan. On the top floor, we carry out interviews to people concerned and professionals in the sustainability and conservation arena, but we are also glad to interview students or anybody who would like to say his own opinion or her own opinion. And on the lower part, we highlight some of the brands which have been certified and also provide other accessories which are certified by third-party certifications. It's in the highest footfall street in Italy, the fourth in Europe. And so we really hope through this to raise awareness on the issue of sustainable fashion right in the middle of a fast fashion area. We also have developed a fidelity card, which I believe is distributed here by the organizers. And if you want to learn more about our previous activities and fashion shows, you can go to our YouTube page and click on the various videos. I thank you very much, and later I will, before the fashion show, I will introduce each brand, one slide for each brand with its features and its engagement for environmental sustainability. Thank you very much. And I have the pleasure now to invite our guest from L'Officiel, a famous fashion media, Giorgia Cantarini, fashion journalist. Welcome, Giorgia, and you can speak Italian or English, whatever.
English is not a problem for me, so if it's okay, I will do it in English. Is that right? Okay, my name is Giorgia Cantarini. I'm a journalist, a stylist, and a talent scouter. I try with my work as a journalist to bring awareness about sustainability. I started to hear this word many years ago, and I remember at the time I was working for a major daily. I won't say the name, but it was a major Italian daily. And I proposed a story about sustainable fashion and the first responsibility and sustainability reports that big companies were just starting to send out to the world. And I was turned down because they said, oh no, sustainable fashion is ugly. It's not relevant and it's not interesting for our readers. That gave me the boost to start to research this word, what does it mean, and the brands that actually take great care of our planet. After some years, I discovered that it's not true that sustainable brands are not desirable. It's just a matter of combining techniques, having the right resources, and of course, great style. During the pandemic, I had a moment to pause and reflect and ask myself, what can I do to bring more awareness and to actually educate people that there are many, many interesting alternatives to the big major brands or the fast fashion. And I started to research the web, and I found that actually there were so many interesting names. Not all of them are sustainable because the majority of these brands are small brands that have not all the right resources for now to be 100% sustainable, but at least they are responsible. Responsible, this word means that the brands are not fully sustainable, but at least work with the principle of sustainability, because sustainability is a journey. And it's fairly impossible to be 100% sustainable. We know that. So in 2020, I approached PT Uomo, the major trade show for menswear, and I proposed this project, which is called S-Style, Sustainable Style, to showcase 10 to 15 emerging brands from all over the world, only menswear brands, because womenswear have so many more offerings. And I wanted to tell them, why don't we do something for men's fashion and try to educate also buyers that come and visit the trade show to buy alternatives for their stores. So we started, and now the latest edition was this June 2023. We had the first big partnership for the project with Kering. Kering decided to sponsor the project, giving access to all these small brands to their Material Innovation Lab. So inside Kering, there's this division that works since 10 years, actually, to educate the design teams and all the product teams inside Kering Group to use alternative materials and to actually verify the source of these materials, where they come from, who made them, how they made them, how many resources, like natural resources, were used to develop these new textiles. What happened with the project that I found interesting was the possibility for the designers to access to these innovations, because sustainability is also about innovation, and to develop a capsule collection using these textiles. What the result was like a show, a mini show that we did, and it was a great success, both for the designers that actually learned through making, and also for the public to actually say, oh, these sustainable brands, actually these responsible, wanting to be sustainable brands one day, are very interesting. And some of them are now in shops already. Which means that we need to keep supporting these brands. We need to invest, because of course some of the proposals from these brands are not very, let's say, as affordable as, I don't know, fast fashion, of course. But if we keep consuming this way, we just not only hurt our planet, but we hurt ourselves and our lives. So I'm really thankful for the World Sustainability Organization for having me here today to bring my testimony. And I wish them all the best for their project, because this is the right way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Giorgia. If somebody has questions now or later, you can just raise your hand, and se avete delle domande adesso dopo potete alzare la mano.
Well, if not, I will ask questions to Giorgia, but also to Alfio, Alfio Fontana. Can I have you here, Alfio? For your speech, you represent the Humana Italy. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here today. And very happy, so glad to discover how many positive, interesting things you do in partnership with other brands on an international level. Thank you, Paolo. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Now, I've spent the entire day here, and if you've not been here this morning, we listened to so many interesting, in-depth speakers. We've talked concretely, tangibly about sustainability. My name is Alfio. I do corporate social responsibility plus partnership in Humana People to People Italy. Humana People to People, by the way, is an international organization. We are involved in cooperation. We fight climate crisis. We manage humanitarian aids. Created back in the 1970s in Denmark. Now, 46 different countries in the world, 20,000 partners. Now, what characterizes us, and by the way, this is the reason why I'm here today with you on sustainability in the fashion industry, is the collection of second-hand clothes. Humana People to People, we collect clothes that people want to donate. Of course, we sort, we market all of these pieces. So again, this apparel, these pieces can be retransformed into important resources. This is so important because when we talk about apparel, well, quite often we do not think the environmental impact that the textile and fashion industries have. You know, textile sector is the fourth biggest category in terms of pressure on raw materials after housing, food, and transportation systems. The UN says that 10% of global emissions depend on textile. And we know that around 20% of pollution of water is based or is due to textile and fashion. Now, this is not a catastrophic scenario, of course. So we don't have to feel guilty, so to say, but this is great food for thought to know what we can do to change something. Things are not going very well, so once again, I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to, accuse anyone. But we just need to think of the responsibilities that everyone has in terms of, having to do something. Now, the clothes we collect, as I said before, are sorted, selected by us. 68% of what we select can be worn, so it can be used. So, of course, we sell it because selling, marketing those clothes is the most important thing we can do because, I mean, that product requires plenty of natural resources, so why throw it away? To be marketed, I mean, clothes are sold in our stores, 500 in Europe, 15 in Italy, 4 in Milan. The brand is the Humana Vintage or Humana People. It is a non-profit making organization, so all the benefits, all the money we earn can be used to fund the social environmental projects around the world. As for key topics, we deal with health, education, sustainable agriculture, and community development. In Italy, in 2022, Humana collected 20,000 tons of clothes. 20,000. So this is basically 60 million items that can be recycled. Now, if an item can no longer be worn, but in that case, it is recycled. Paolo told us about the impact of the fashion industry and which natural fibers today can be a new fiber. Cashmere, silk, cotton, wool, well, in that case, the recycling supply chain can, renovate, if you will, the item. If the item itself is produced with many different materials, so many different raw materials, well, retransforming it into a fiber is difficult. So in that case, this is used by the construction companies or the automotive industries for padding purposes. So what is fundamental is that everyone has to be circular. Now, this morning we talked about circular economy. Well, what is crucial, and by the way, today I'm talking about textile and clothes, but this should be happening for every single product. We have to find a way to have a longer life cycle of products. This morning we talked about certifications quite a lot, and I know they are important. They are the so-called 4 C's of sustainability. C for consistency, so we have to say what we do and we do what we say. Concreteness, so we want to create a concrete impact, something that can be, recorded and measured. Certifications have an extreme importance. There's another C in Italian, so involvement, if you will, of as many stakeholders as possible. The 2 key challenges we have to take up: climate crisis, reducing inequalities. Of course, so we need help, so we can't do this by ourselves. There's another C for culture. We have to transfer, to pass on culture of sustainability and even accountability. I mean, the previous speaker made a distinction between accountability and sustainability, or responsibility and sustainability. Well, this is fundamental. Again, certifications are so important in order to help us make this difference. They are a fundamental foundation so as to transfer information to consumers. Brands also have to be responsible. They have to be transparent. They have to report, inform us what they do, so that consumers know what we purchase. But consumers like us, well, we also are responsible, and on a daily basis, we have to decide what we can do to reduce the footprints we leave on the planet. Every single morning when we get up, we do plenty of things. So we dress up, we travel, we move, we eat. Every time we do something, well, we have to be responsible, aware. So once again, we have to reduce the footprint. Instead of having the footprint of an elephant, why not having a very small footprint? This is it. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Don't hesitate if you have questions. May I ask the technicians to share a short video so it summarizes much better than I can do what Humana does in the world. Thank you so much again. Grazie.
Cosa significa essere umani in un mondo in cui le disuguaglianze sociali sono accentuate dalla crisi ambientale? Per noi di Humana significa generare cambiamento sostenibile e consapevole. Per questo abbiamo scelto di essere umani essendo umana. Essere umana vuol dire gestire con trasparenza le risorse economiche e gli abiti che ci vengono affidati, lavorando con competenze specifiche per garantire la qualità e l'etica dei nostri processi. I vestiti usati sono per noi semi preziosi di futuri alberi che insieme creano una foresta di azioni consapevoli che dà ossigeno al domani. Una foresta che nel mondo genera sviluppo, istruzione, attivismo. Essere umana vuol dire gestire valore, quello tangibile degli abiti che attraverso un processo virtuoso e trasparente trasformiamo in valore sociale, economico e ambientale. Trasformiamo in futuro. E lo facciamo prendendoci cura di ogni singolo capo, che con attenzione raccogliamo, selezioniamo e rimettiamo in circolo grazie al lavoro quotidiano di oltre 200 persone in Italia e 20.000 colleghi nel mondo. Essere umana vuol dire tessere fili che uniscono. Partono dal vecchio continente e arrivano in Africa, Asia e America Latina. Un legame indissolubile che alimentiamo con impegno giorno dopo giorno. Essere umana vuol dire continuare a raccontare la storia di milioni di capi. Lo facciamo da oltre 25 anni, grazie al contributo delle persone per le persone, convinti che per garantire il domani serva agire oggi, insieme. Perché è solo unendo i piccoli grandi gesti di ognuno che possiamo davvero cambiare il mondo. Essere umana vuol dire credere che un futuro più equo sia possibile. Lo facciamo attraverso progettualità misurabili e solide partnership che diano la possibilità ad ognuno di diventare protagonista e artefice del proprio destino. Essere umana non vuol dire tenere per mano, ma dare una mano a milioni di persone. Perché crediamo in uno sviluppo che nasca dall'apprendimento e generi autonomia, nel rispetto delle comunità in cui operiamo. Essere umana vuol dire generare cambiamento sostenibile e consapevole. Per questo abbiamo scelto di essere umani, essendo Humana.
Do you think there is, do you already have other certifications for your product, like a recycled standard or something like that? Do you think there's space for collaborating? It would be great because you're doing something excellent.
Assolutamente sì, il tema del riciclo è un tema
is at the very beginning, I mean, at the very inception. So what we need is technologies that can become scalable so that we can really, really work on the recycling, and recycling has to be, let's say, economically viable. So once again, the certifications are absolutely important. So they will guarantee our investments. I'm sure we will meet again for concrete collaborations, if you will. Thank you. Thank you.
Grazie a te e do una
I'm so
domanda,
sorry, I
scusate
never
io per i
remember
nomi,
names.
per la
Giorgia
giornalista
from
di
L'Officiel,
L'Officiel,
sorry.
per Giorgia.
Giorgia, do you think media in
Pensi che
general,
i
so
media
fashion
in
but also
generale, sia
non-fashion
per
media,
il
do you
fashion
think
che
they are
non
doing
fashion,
enough
stiano facendo
in terms of
abbastanza
raising awareness of
nel
this topic? Or,
sensibilizzare sul tema,
you know,
o
it's a
forse
big,
perché il
big
business è
business, you know,
anche importante,
advertising,
le
so
pubblicità
maybe
eccetera,
they are a
magari
little slow.
vanno un po' slow.
The answer is
La
no.
risposta è no.
No, no doubt on this. Definitely
Senza
no.
dubbio.
Because
Sì,
unfortunately,
perché
the
purtroppo la
crisis that we
crisi che
have in
c'è a
terms of
livello,
media
diciamo, di
system,
sistema dei
well, this
media
means that,
è che i
newspapers
giornali
now
non
are
sono
much
diventati
less
molto meno
important in
rilevanti
our
nella
daily
nostra
life and also for
quotidianità
consumers.
e per i
And again,
consumatori. E
unfortunately,
purtroppo
we have
ci
to
si
come to
trova a
terms
dover fare
with
i
those
conti con chi
investing,
investe nel
in the
giornale e che
newspapers,
quindi
so they support
supporta
the
la
life of the
vita del
newspaper and those who
giornale
are
e
working
di chi ci
for that
lavora.
newspaper. Now, of
Sicuramente
course,
ci
we do
sono
have
colleghi
reporters,
che si
journalists,
impegnano quantomeno
striving to
a
disseminate the
diffondere le
main
notizie
news,
principali
and of course,
e
I'm
cerco di fare
also
ovviamente
doing the
il
same. I'm
possibile
trying to do what is
per
possible
almeno
so that at
parlare di
least
quello
we can talk about
che sta
what's happening.
succedendo,
I
delle
mean, innovation,
innovazioni, dei
if you will,
sistemi
innovative,
anche
cutting-edge
diciamo
systems also in terms of
innovativi anche di
manufacturing. And
produzione di quello che
so
comunque
thanks to what
anche
the European Commission
grazie
is
alle
doing, but
Nazioni
also the
Unite, la
United
Commissione
Nations,
europea sta anche
they are
cambiando a
changing the
livello anche di
regulations.
normative
So once
e
again,
quindi anche
concrete
di
facts and even
fatti e
obligations,
di
if you will. This
obblighi
is
che le
something that's
aziende avranno
happening,
in
and this is
futuro
what
per
companies,
continuare a
organizations will have to
produrre.
abide by in the
Quindi
future.
sicuramente a
In terms
livello
of
di
information, we
informazione si
strive
fa
our
quel che si
best.
può. Di
We start having
conoscenza inizia ad
knowledge,
esserci, ma
awareness,
secondo me ce n'è ancora
but
poca
not
perché
enough
c'è
because
molta
there's plenty of
confusione sulle
confusion on
terminologie.
terminology. Green
Cos'è green
fashion,
fashion, cos'è
eco
eco
fashion,
fashion, cos'è
bio-based,
bio-based,
sustainable, responsible. I mean,
sostenibile,
sometimes,
responsabile. Sono
I
a
keep,
volte termini,
learning
lo
this. I keep
leggo
reading
leggendo io
what my
stessa
colleagues write.
quello che
And
scrivono i
sometimes
colleghi,
I am
mi
asked to
chiedono di
explain what the
spiegargli
difference
quali
is.
sono le
Because
differenze
once
perché
again,
non
there's no
c'è una
real
vera cultura
sustainability
della
culture. And
sostenibilità
this
e
is
questa è
one of
un'altra
the missions
missione
we all
che
have
abbiamo un
to
po'
have.
tutti noi che ci
Great. This is
interessiamo.
absolutely great.
Sono
Well, I
lieto
really hope I
di
have
aver
started
aperto un
or
primo
opened a
canale di
nice, let's say,
comunicazione anche con
exchange or
te,
communication channel with you.
anche
Based
forte
on
per la
your
tua
expertise and
esperienza
track record, I
possiamo
hope we
pensare
can
di
work together
collaborare e
and again
sensibilizzare
raise
perché abbiamo
awareness
questo
because this is
obiettivo
something we
comune.
really, really need to do.
Volentieri, grazie.
Of course, I
Grazie,
will.
grazie
Thank you.
mille, buona.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Giorgia,
La
for your
ringrazio
speech.
ancora per essere intervenuta.
Now, just some
Un
housekeeping
piccolo
before
annuncio prima che
introducing
io possa
all the
introdurre
brands.
tutti i brand in
Do you
tempo.
think that,
Secondo voi le sfilate
shows
iniziano
start,
sempre spacca al secondo?
on time? I mean,
Voi che
you
siete
are the
esperti in
experts.
questo, io di moda.
Oh, someone says never.
You think, mai? Okay, quindi, so we have some margin of movement. I would like to thank Apex, which is the export institution in Brazil, which has helped several of the Brazilian companies to be more and more involved and highlighted on this path towards sustainable fashion. And here with us we have André, Limp. Nós temos aqui com nós, tenho que falar português. Queria agradecer a Apex para sempre ter suportado as empresas brasileiras nesse percurso para a moda sustentável. Quer falar algo?
Sim, muito obrigado. Vou falar em português e, se for o caso, depois também um pouco em inglês. Meu nome é André Limp, eu sou coordenador de Indústria e Serviços na ApexBrasil. A ApexBrasil é a agência brasileira de promoção de exportações e investimentos. Nós somos ligados diretamente ao governo federal e a nossa missão, muito brevemente, é apoiar os setores da economia brasileira nas suas trajetórias de internacionalização, expansão em mercados internacionais, a exportação, atração de investimentos diretos para o Brasil e a internacionalização das nossas empresas. Hoje são mais de 50 setores apoiados, mais de 6.000 empresas apoiadas diretamente para a promoção de exportações e, ao todo, mais de 12.000 empresas traçando as suas trajetórias de internacionalização com o apoio da agência. Então, quando a gente vê em eventos como este, nós vemos a força do tema sustentabilidade, fazendo a diferença na trajetória de muitas estratégias de internacionalização das empresas. E a gente vê que sustentabilidade ela permeia vários setores, não só os setores de moda, mas também os setores do agronegócio, de máquinas, equipamentos, de tecnologia, serviços, a economia criativa, divulgando as iniciativas de sustentabilidade do Brasil. Então, isso para nós é uma grande satisfação ver que nós estamos plantando novas parcerias internacionais com uma base muito forte no tema de sustentabilidade e, a partir dali, alavancando negócios para o Brasil e também para todos os parceiros internacionais que nós temos no Brasil. Então, como governo federal, nosso muito obrigado, sucesso para o evento. And if you want to learn the English version for what I just said, I'll be more than glad to record that and just send you to your organization. I don't want to take too much time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, André Limp of Apex. Now I would like to introduce each of the brands which will be the stars of today's fashion show. So if you can show my last presentation. I have to do three things: hold the microphone, the catalog that is available. I suggest all of you to pick this up, because in here you will find all the information about the different brands that we'll showcase today. And let me see if this is, yes, it's the right presentation. So, as in the order of the catalog, Celeste, it's a brand, it's a sustainable beachwear brand with a Brazilian essence. And its environmental and social engagements are the following ones. They use recycled lycra or biodegradable lycra, certified cotton and viscose fabrics, handmade processing, ethical production, as they work with local seamstresses and artisans and pay fairly for their work, fair and safe working conditions, and in the process, in the project of Friend of the Earth. Demodé is the next brand. Demodé is, again, a Brazilian brand, a brand of underwear and comfy fashion made from organic cotton and Brazilian hand lace. It uses certified organic cotton, creation of new products with clothing waste, so upcycling basically, or recycling, or works with the local community to generate income, handmade process, fair and safe working conditions. Next one is Ezien. Ezien is a Nigerian brand, a brand founded by Naomi Enetomi in 2020, inspired by today's free and liberated generation of fearless females. These designs tell stories of empowerment, self-worth, passion, and purpose. And the brand uses natural and recycled fibers, produces timeless pieces, 5% from each items sold goes to providing educational materials for children in adopted schools in Nigeria. We then have the brand Esme, UK. It's a resort brand founded by fashion designer Esme. It's partnering with the sustainable eco-cotton community in the Egyptian desert, 100% chemical-free, certified cotton fabric, handmade, hand-painted, focusing waste reductions, and so on. The next brand is Kaoni. Oh, you're helping me? Okay, wonderful. Kaoni Duriki is founder and designer of the clothing brand Kaoni. It's based in Pristina in Kosovo. Imagine she dresses Dua Lipa, reshaping urban fashion by breaking gender roles. It's all in upcycling, basically. This is the main focus, handmade and sustainable. It reuses material that would otherwise go wasted. Cantarini Story from the US, Cantarini Story Upcycled, is a California fashion designer whose signature style, inspired by the bohemian elegance of her native Laguna Beach, has garnered worldwide acclaim. It's all it's good in good part in upcycling, hand-dyed, gender-neutral, vintage recycled lace, silk, velvet, and the other fabrics. We then have Mamiki and Caruso. It's a duo of artists in two different fields, but who have found the right combination and connection to create an upcycle and recycle collection. So they do upcycle and recycle collection, hand-painted, and they use raw material from waste and used coffee bags. And Natural Cotton Color, Brazil. The Brazilian brand, based in the northeast region of Brazil, works with timeless pieces in tailoring and uses as a base the organic colored cotton of Paraíba and local handicrafts. So it's organic cotton with international certifications, guaranteed purchase contract with the farmers. The price paid per kilo of cotton to the farmer is the highest in Brazil, imagine, for cotton. Naturally colored cotton generates saving of 87.5% of water compared to conventional cotton products. Artisan women gathered in associations have a higher income. The production chain aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. Pacoa Eco, again, Brazil. Pacoa Eco has a positive impact on the fashion industry by developing a banana fiber fabric. So the production is made of banana fiber from agricultural waste. Economically benefits small banana producers and group of artisanal women. Circular production, therefore, handmade. Tropica, again, Brazil. Brazil is so aware, about this need to be more sustainable. We are a Brazilian brand working to support and preserve the artisanal culture. It's handmade, use of natural fibers like jute from Amazon and organic cotton from Paraíba, recycling waste all through their production chain. Zooclose from Switzerland. This brand produces sportswear. Zooclose comes from a Swiss fashion family, the Spillmans. In 2021, during the pandemic time, Zoe realized the impact that human does to the environment, the need of a healthy ocean. And so it developed an entire sport collection made from marine trash like nylon waste and ghost nets. And so therefore, recycled material. With every item sold, Zooclose Fashion donates a contribution to Healthy Seas. The new material reduces nylon's global warming impact by up to 90%. And with this, we are done. We finished for today. I really thank you for all your patience and interest. And I wish, before everything, to thank all the organizers, the translators, the technicians, the video maker, and all the staff here, and all our team for the great work done. And now, you know, enjoy the rest of the day, of the evening. Thank you so much. Have a great day.